you are right with God in your heart, and you're doing what God called you to do.
The morning at Fellowship Church began like any other Sunday, filled with songs, prayers, and the familiar energy of a congregation ready to hear a powerful message. Pastor Charles Jenkins had always been a figure of strength, inspiration, and guidance. But that day, everything changed in an instant. As he delivered his sermon, his body betrayed him, and the sanctuary became a scene of shock, fear, and chaos. What started as a moment of worship turned into a life-altering event, leaving the church and the wider community grappling with questions about health, stress, and the pressures faced by spiritual leaders. The collapse. During the sermon, what shocked everyone was how sudden it happened. Pastor Jenkins began preaching passionately, but his voice started to shake, and he gripped the pulpit tighter than usual. At first, people thought it was simply part of his fervent delivery. Within seconds, his strength failed completely, and he collapsed forward, leaving the congregation in a state of panic. Screams, prayers, and cries filled the air as people rushed to help him. Eyewitnesses described the scene as surreal, a moment frozen in disbelief. The chaos showed just how much the community relied on his presence and how vulnerable even the strongest leaders can become. It became immediately clear that this was no ordinary Sunday. Immediate response. Inside the church, trained medical members in the congregation acted quickly, checking his pulse and attempting to stabilize him while ushers tried to calm the crowd. Some people called 911, while others dropped to their knees in prayer. Within minutes, paramedics arrived with a stretcher, and the sanctuary shifted from a space of worship to one of fear and heavy silence. Choir members stopped singing, some covering their faces, others holding each other for support. The atmosphere outside the church was equally intense, with flashing ambulance lights and groups of congregants forming prayer circles. In a matter of minutes, the pastor who had inspired so many was being rushed to the ICU in critical condition, leaving the community shocked and fearful for his life. Hospital admission and uncertainty. Once at the hospital, Pastor Jenkins was placed under intensive care. Initial reports confirmed that he was alive but in a serious state, with doctors monitoring him closely. The church received only brief updates, which added to the anxiety of family members and the congregation. Silence from the hospital fueled confusion and speculation, leaving people desperate for answers. Family members stayed by his bedside, with his wife providing a mixture of strength and heartache while requesting privacy. Church leaders visited the hospital in shifts, balancing care for the pastor with attempts to calm anxious church members. This period highlighted the emotional toll that medical crises can take on loved ones, friends, and a community united by faith. Social media, reaction, and rumors. Within minutes, videos from the church surfaced online, spreading rapidly across social media. Hashtags like #PrayForJenkins began trending, attracting messages of support and encouragement from people nationwide. Alongside the prayers, rumors emerged, ranging from speculation about hidden health issues to stress from ministry responsibilities. The lack of detailed information from the hospital and the church fueled these conversations, creating both concern and controversy. Social media became a double-edged sword, simultaneously offering solidarity and fostering questions about the pastor's personal health and workload. This instant digital response reflected how public figures' private struggles often become national discussions in a matter of hours. The pressure of ministry life. It became evident that Pastor Jenkins had been carrying a heavy load for weeks before his collapse. Traveling, preaching, attending meetings, and fulfilling other commitments left him exhausted, but he reportedly brushed off his fatigue to continue serving. This moment highlighted a common but often overlooked reality. Spiritual leaders frequently prioritize the needs of their congregations over their own health. Jenkins' collapse revealed the hidden toll that constant work, emotional labor, and high expectations can have, emphasizing that even the strongest individuals have limits. The congregation's shock transformed into reflection on the demanding nature of ministry life and the need for self-care among leaders. Signs of hope. Amid critical condition. Inside the ICU, doctors worked tirelessly to stabilize Pastor Jenkins. Small signs of improvement, such as moments of awareness and slight movement, gave his family hope. Every positive response, no matter how minor, brought relief to those waiting outside the hospital walls. Medical staff emphasized the critical nature of the first 24 hours, making it clear that recovery would require careful monitoring and significant rest. These glimpses of hope offered reassurance that his spirit remained strong, even if his body was vulnerable. The emotional weight of these moments reflected the intersection of faith, uncertainty, and the human desire to cling to hope in times of crisis. Community support and nationwide concern. The story quickly spread beyond Chicago, capturing the attention of the broader gospel and faith community. Messages of encouragement poured in from gospel artists, pastors, and celebrities alike. Prayer chains, candlelight vigils, and worship concerts were organized to support the pastor and his family. This collective outpouring of love illustrated the strong bonds formed in faith communities and the power of shared concern. While speculation persisted on social media, the overwhelming response emphasized solidarity, highlighting that people could rally together during a crisis. Pastor Jenkins' situation became both a deeply personal family matter and a communal experience of prayer, hope, and unity. Debate and reflection on leadership. Burdens. Alongside the support, debates arose about the pressures pastors face and the sustainability of high-demand ministry life. Some questioned whether large congregations unfairly expect leaders to maintain constant energy, while others speculated on hidden physical or emotional struggles that could have contributed to the collapse. Insider revelations about Jenkins' exhaustion weeks prior reinforced these concerns. The conversation expanded beyond health to examine systemic issues in church leadership, including the expectation for leaders to carry immense responsibilities without adequate rest or support. This reflection emphasized that crises often reveal larger structural and cultural challenges that communities may overlook. Implications for church leadership. Pastor Jenkins' collapse forced church leaders to confront difficult questions about succession, temporary replacements, and long-term ministry continuity. Discussions focused on ensuring that the congregation could function even in his absence, highlighting the importance of shared responsibility in leadership. This moment underscored that one individual cannot shoulder the full burden of a ministry alone. Leaders and congregants alike were prompted to reflect on organizational resilience, delegation, and the well-being of those serving in demanding spiritual roles. The incident served as a wake-up call about the practical and emotional demands placed on pastors and the necessity of community support structures. Messages of love and faith. Despite the uncertainty, small moments of connection provided hope. When Pastor Jenkins briefly opened his eyes and whispered that he loved his congregation, it had a profound emotional impact on family members and staff. This expression of care, even during vulnerability, reinforced his deep bond with the people he served. Outside the hospital, members continued to pray, sing, and hold vigils, demonstrating faith and devotion. This collective effort highlighted the spiritual and emotional interdependence between leaders and their communities, showing that even in crisis, faith and love can provide strength, comfort, and motivation for both caregivers and congregants. A lasting symbol of awareness and resilience. Pastor Jenkins' sudden collapse became more than a health emergency. It served as a symbol for the challenges faced by leaders in high-pressure roles. It sparked a wider conversation about the balance between duty, self-care, and community expectations. The incident encouraged congregations and leaders nationwide to reconsider how spiritual, emotional, and physical burdens are shared. While his road to recovery remained uncertain, the discussion his collapse inspired emphasized human limits, the value of rest, and the necessity of mutual support. This event transformed Pastor Jenkins' personal crisis into a meaningful lesson for faith communities everywhere, leaving a lasting mark on how leadership and care are understood.